Good evening. Meeting called to order. Please rise to salute the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call please.
Councilmember Southwick. Here. Councilmember Bory.
Here.
Councilmember Hunter.
Here.
Supervisor Champlain.
Aye. Here.
And Councilmember Moore is absent.
Correct. Approval of the minutes of October 8, 2024, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the October 8 minutes.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? I don't find any need for corrections. All in favor? Motion carries. Approval of the October 17th special meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes of the special meeting of October 17th.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So now we're into the presentations. Please try to limit it to 5 minutes. We've got a ton on the agenda tonight. But first and foremost, I'd like to welcome legislator Calvin Castine here. Thank you. You want to address the board?
If I can let the historian talk first.
Sure, definitely. Yes, and our county historian.
Just, I think most of everybody's aware of the new signs are up at Bob Ben Park, the history signs, and had a nice little video done there. They look great. Thanks to Dave Patrick for the efforts he's put into helping to get those signs worded and moving the markers, I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but those signs off the,
Interpretive panels, I call it.
yeah, I guess that's a good name for them, and moving them over from Louis Fedorad's house over to the park, and then helping to get this one established out here. So David really is a great help history-wise to the area. Now, as a legislator, first of all, as a citizen, I want to thank Alan Racine. I come back from Plattsburgh, I take the Ridge Road from Minor Farm down to where it meets the McBride Road and so on. And there's such a difference at nighttime when you have the painted road in Champlain, then you hit Chazy and there's a faded marker in the middle and nothing on the sides. And as we head into the winter months, the safety factors kick in, and believe me, it looks a lot better when we get into Champlain side, and I think Alan did a good job there. And speaking of the Northway, if you went to Plattsburgh today, or if you went last week, you saw some signs that they were doing some milling, and they're gonna fix those areas where the ruts have been all summer long. When you drove into Plattsburgh, and you got between 38 and 39 exits, your car was all over the place. I saw tractor trailers avoid that because they've been over it before. I saw tractor trailers pull over to the left lane because they didn't want to touch that. So I was at a meeting 3-4 weeks ago, and I didn't realize it was that way, and even worse toward Peru, up by the place where they pull off to inspect the vehicles. It was even worse there where they've done it, and everybody expected they'd fix it by now, but they hadn't. So Rob Timmons brought that up, so I immediately got a hold of Josh Kretzer, who was the chairman of our transportation committee. And he brought it up at the next transportation meeting and got a letter written to the state to address that situation. It was copied to Steck and to Jones. So the next day when I got the copy of that, I personally sent it on again to Steck and Jones. Got positive responses from them. I sent it to the Press Republican and to the North Countryman. The Sun. I'm aging myself here. Former North Countryman, the Sun. Also sent it to Channel 5 and to Fox 44, but they ignored it. Joel Tempio did a nice article on it for the Press. Ken Needham did a nice article on it for the Sun. They contacted the state, so they really helped get it done. And now, coming back from Plattsburgh today, the one coming this way is all repaved.
Yeah.
There's still gonna be some areas in the middle where it's a little humpy, but it's not that real bad situation. So they're taking care of it, and that, I think is gonna save a life, because,
They attempted a patch more or less, right?
well, they
First,
it was patches and streaks.
yeah.
So you'd have one streak this high and another streak an inch or two lower and another, so it was just bouncing from, one patch to the other. And there were spaghetti patches, long stretches, so it wasn't,
Well, thank you to yourself and the
Well,
rest of the
yeah,
board, because you achieved that in a short amount of time.
well, it had to be done in a short amount of time. So that's been done. Sales tax, as you know, Mike Zerlo always projects a little bit lower than what we're hoping for. So we're, at this point, about $1.5 million ahead of the projections, but we look at actual from a year ago, and a year ago was our best year ever. We're just a hair over last year, so it has improved, but less than 1% over what it was a year ago. But it has improved, so our numbers look good as far as your budget goes from the sales tax money, so that's looking good. And, I was in the shopping center today downtown here, and nice to see all those Canadian cars here spending $1, and every dollar they spend, they leave a few tax dollars behind too, so that helps. And they're providing jobs too. The landfill, as you may or may not have heard, starting January 1st, Champlain will only be open on Saturday. About 8 to 10 years ago, I don't know the exact time, whoever was in the legislature at that time came to an agreement with Casella, as Casella is the business. They're trying to make money, and each of their landfill convenience stations, they're losing money, they're not happy with that, so they want to make money. So a couple of years ago, we fought, and we got a couple of them were closed, not in our immediate area. But this time here, they were really looking hard at Champlain closing it up, because you drive by, I use the convenience station, but so many people use the pickup service that people are delivering it to the convenience station, and therefore they're not getting the revenue at that station that they had in the past, because people are using the pickup service. But I didn't realize it at the time, that they've also decided they're gonna close mowers one of their 3 days. They were open Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. This is all taking effect January 1st. They're gonna close mowers on Tuesday. Now, this is creating a problem for the haulers,
So which days will they be open?
Thursday and Saturday, and mowers.
Saturday only?
Yeah, and Champlain is Saturday only.
So what are all the haulers gonna do?
The hours will be pretty much the same.
No, the haulers, that's gonna be.
Oh, yeah, the haulers, this is a
They're
big
gonna lose
problem.
day.
The haulers that go to Moore's, this is a big problem. I got 2 calls today from haulers, because they pick up to deliver to Moore's, and the place isn't open till Thursday. So what the heck they supposed to do with a truckload of garbage for 2-3 days? But, according to this chart, they're also gonna close Schuyler Falls on Wednesdays and Fridays. So I don't know what they're expecting these haulers to do, so we've gotta revisit this. But like I said, it's a contract that was agreed to 8-10 years ago, and now we're just battling to keep our foot in the door here. So hopefully we can do something, but we're constantly being told that they're in charge. They've got the contract, and if they wanted to, they could close them all right now.
Yeah, do you think that's really the ultimate goal here, is they're
Oh.
just weaning us off and they want everybody to get at-home service and that's gonna be the end of it?
Yes, but what bothers me even more is the fact that they're closing Schuyler Falls on Wednesday and Friday, and Moore's on Tuesdays. So if you got the haulers going, where are they supposed to deliver this stuff? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So there's an economic development meeting tomorrow night at 4 at the county, and I'm gonna bring this up again, and I know Francis Perrier is gonna probably be there too to complain about it. So the closures, Line Mountain is gonna be open only a half a day on Wednesday, and Ellenberg half a day on Wednesday. They're now closed in Line Mountain on Saturday. Alsable is closed Wednesday. They were open Wednesday and Saturday, now they're closed. Ellenberg is closed on Saturday, they're only open half a day on Wednesday. We got cut down to 1 day out of 2 days. Saranac and Peru are splitting a half a day on Tuesday and a half a day on Saturday. And then Schuyler Falls, closing on Wednesday and then Friday, so.
What about Shazy?
Tuesday, they're open Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at Schuyler Falls.
Shazy?
Shazy is still open on Wednesday and Saturday,
Okay.
because their volume is high enough that, they can justify keeping it open.
And the main landfill is open, its regular, schedule in Morrisonville? Is that their main hub, is that the main one?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's Schuyler Falls, I don't know.
Is that Schuyler Falls, the one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's what, I'm assuming that's what they're calling Schuyler Falls, because they had it open 5 days, and nobody was open 5 days except down there.
Right.
So, who can deliver there? Obviously, the homeowner can, but hopefully the haulers can. Otherwise, it's gonna really put a crimp on the haulers. I have speculation on why that's doing that, or they're doing that, but, not too happy with them, so. It's a battle, but, it's a battle we can fight, but we may not, got on top of it. It's, like I said, the contract was signed 8-10 years ago. And the final thing I've got is, are there any questions on any of this, outside of what we just asked? Is the dogs, as you know, they went to the county, it was, shot down as far as going to the public hearing. I voted to go to the public hearing, to push it to the next step, but the votes weren't there. So, I know you've, you guys helped draft that law. So if you wanna get it enforced, I'd say pass your own law. The law that was drafted and rejected at this point, was looked over by our lawyer, so you don't need to do much lawyer investment in this. Our lawyer went over the wording of it. You may wanna tweak something here and there, but it shouldn't be an expense to the town to get your own law passed, so. I would say for the winter coming, if you wanna get that passed, that would be the time to do it. But I don't think, it's ever gonna get to the point where it's gonna pass at the county level, so.
That's the dog tethering thing they're
Yes.
talking about?
Yeah,
Did they say why they didn't wanna push it forward? What were the reasons behind it?
Again, I don't know, I don't know what the problem would be to go to the public hearing and then make your decision after having a public hearing. I think a lot of them had strong feedback from their towns that they don't want it, so why bother, is maybe what was on their mind, I don't know. They just thought it was been going on since last winter and it was time to pull the plug on it, so, but I didn't see a problem with going to the public hearing and letting everybody have their say and then making a decision, but it was voted down. So, anything else on that or anything else?
No, but thank you for all the updates.
Oh, and back to the historian, I'm working with the Woodman, next year, it could be the 175th anniversary of the Northern Railroad coming through here in 1850. I think September 28th was the date that sticks in my mind, where the first full run came through from Augsburg to Rouse's Point. It was in spurts before, kind of like the Northway was, when that was first built. You could get some towns, but you couldn't do the whole drive. Well, the whole drive was done 175 years ago next year. So we're hoping to get a couple of historic markers put up to commemorate that. And hopefully, then in 2026, we've got something about the Revolutionary War 250 years ago, so the 250 is gonna be a big thing.
Looking forward to it.
All right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
much. On to more, appreciate it. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
like 3 minutes, Tom, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Over a
just
minute.
State your name for the
Yeah.
camera, please.
Jennifer Jewett, and I live in Champlain, New York. I'll be as quick as I can. No matter how educated, talented, rich, or cool you are, how you treat animals tells me what kind of person you are. I'm here to give the town of Champlain an actual update on our pursuit for the Clinton County Dog Tether Law. Our draft law was approved by the county attorney, and on October 23rd it went before the county legislature. Little did we know it was titled Resolution 913 and was placed last on the agenda. We were not aware there would needed to be a vote for there to be a public hearing on our law, or it would happen that night. Legislators Bazzaio and Kretzer were absent, which meant there were only 8 legislators in attendance. Legislator Patty Waldron proposed the legislators wait until they returned before voting on whether the law could go to a public hearing. We received five votes in favor of waiting and 3 votes against it. We needed 6 votes in order to postpone the vote on whether there could be a public hearing for the dog tether law. This meant we lost. The legislators then voted on Resolution 913, that is whether we could have a public hearing. 4 legislators voted yes and 4 voted no. That meant we lost again, and we were not allowed a public hearing for our tether law. Had the 2 legislators that were absent there been there that night, the outcome may have been very different. This was all by design. This means that our legislators voted to not allow the people to have any say or be able to speak on the law's behalf. They wouldn't even allow the town supervisors to have any say or to provide feedback on the law we proposed. This is the first time in at least a decade, more likely that a lot longer than that our legislators have not allowed a public hearing on a proposed local law. I did some research over the weekend and did determine that based on the legislative rules of order, Rule number 12.4 states that any item acted upon by the legislature and defeated can be acted upon again at the next legislature meeting. So we aren't done, and we're going back when all the legislators are in attendance. A few legislators have told us to just give up. Some of them want nothing more than for us to go away. Some of the legislators didn't even read our local law. We worked on it 2 months, getting it approved by the county attorney, and they couldn't be bothered to take the time to even read it. I was told by one legislator, I didn't read the law, but I was never going to vote for it anyway. They haven't done any research and couldn't be bothered to read the law we worked so hard on. Some of the legislators suggest we should instead have 17 separate town laws, which makes no sense whatsoever. First, each town would have to draft its own law and pay attorney fees for each draft. Next, Sheriff Favreau, in fact, has discussed this law with the legislators and has explained that it would be very difficult for the Sheriff's Department to enforce 17 separate laws. He too wants one countywide law for all to follow. The entire concept of 17 separate laws makes no sense at all. Many of you may not realize it, but Essex County, just one county below us, has had their tether law and animal abuse registry in place for 8 years now. Laws like these exist all over the country, and in fact some places have had their laws for almost 2 decades. In fact, 24 U.S. states have statewide laws, and over 325 major cities and counties have laws like these in place, including our village of Champlain and the town of Au Sable. We are not trying to create something unprecedented or unheard of. We are trying to stop 24/7 dog tethering and create a law similar to those all around the country. In fact, New York State Assembly Member Rosenthal is proposing a very similar law to our state legislature in January. We very well may have an update to our New York State Ag and Market law one day, one that would stop 24/7 tethering all across New York State. My team and I are asking that you please attend a county legislature meeting. The meeting schedule is on the website. We need your support. Please also call your county legislator and tell them you want the tether law. You can also reach out to me and I'll provide you with a copy of the proposed law. This is obviously very important to us, and we continue to fight for the countywide dog tether law, and we have no plans to give up. Thank you for your support. And just to answer your question really quick, each legislator that voted no, half of their or more of their constituents voted yes for the law, and they ignored their vote, including Champlain and Rouse's Point, which is for the law, and Moore's is against, and we have more people in Champlain and Rouse's Point. And each legislator who voted no, same scenario. So they're not listening to their people, is the point. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Cindy Manette, I live in Champlain. I just have a couple of questions that are on the agenda for tonight. I'm just gonna read through it real quick and then I'll give you a copy of it so that you don't have to pay attention if you don't want while I'm talking. There are several resolutions listed on this month's agenda, one of which is resolution number 47, to adopt the budget for the fiscal year 2025. Am I correct in understanding that you plan to accept and adopt the proposed budget on the same day as the public hearing for said budget, regardless of questions or concerns that may be raised during the public hearing? Excuse me. Resolution number 50 concerning the impacts of efforts to electrify highway department vehicles by adoption of the Advanced Clean Trucks Rule. New York State's Clean Truck Rule is a trickle-down rule based on the Biden administration's green policy, for which the president-elect has already written an executive order to be signed immediately after his inauguration that will end the Biden administration's green program. There's documentation indicating the New York State Legislature is challenging the adoption of this rule, and there are several published studies by notable scientists available online that clearly and definitively state and prove the manufacture/production of electric vehicles leaves a larger carbon footprint than do gas vehicles. So prior to signing this rule and resolution into effect, careful reconsideration should be given, as conversion and/or replacement of vehicles will be a costly endeavor by this already overburdened town, one which will more than likely no longer be a requirement. Then for new business item number 13, changes to the EDU, I just have a quick question. What are they and how will those changes impact the residents of the town? Old business item number 2, the sign for the Bob Venn Park. It's understood you were looking into a larger sign for this park. However, given the proposed $4.8 billion plus budget for 2025, is this absolutely a necessity at this time? It seems more, it's just a want to have rather than a need to have. And then as of the end of October 2024, the town has paid out a reported total of $1,301,431 and change in bills. In reviewing the minutes from 2024's town board meetings, I noticed several additional expenses which could be considered to be fat that could be trimmed from the spending. Minor examples of which would be boots and clothing for the code officer, uniforms from UniFirst, etc. I believe that the code officer makes enough money that he can provide his own wardrobe. And then going back to the Bob Venn Park real quick, is the site plan and budget complete with donations, grants, and town costs available for review by the public? If so, to whom should I speak about reviewing this information? And is there signage indicating the use of the park and equipment is at your own risk, or will the town assume the costs in the event of serious injury to a resident?
How do you want me to address those, Cindy?
Thank you.
Do you answer them in any way that you see fit? There's one for John, one too. Okay.
I will send you an email answering each one of those, because there are answers for each one.
I'm sorry?
I will send you an email addressing each question.
That would be splendid, thank you.
I'll be brief. I just have a couple questions. Gary and I recently became aware that the sewer district funding has come through. So some of our neighbors, we got together and talked. They couldn't be here tonight, so I'm kind of speaking on their behalf and they have some questions. I have the proposal, I think it was Matt Cooper, the engineer, who worked through whatever the law firm was. I read through that entire thing and I've looked at the maps of where this is all going. But it's not clear where, on our street, where this sewer line is going to go. The reason I ask is because on our side of the road, we have the water line, and on the opposite side of the road, we have the gas line. So I'm assuming our road is gonna be dug up once again. And I'm wondering, before we do any more work in the front, we're still trying to clean up from the water mess that was left. Before we do any more work, are we going to be dug up on our side, or are we going to be dug up on the other side? And then, in addition to that, part of that water plan, once everything was said and done, any trees and things that were destroyed were supposed to be replaced. That was in the agreement. We lost 3 huge 100-year-old sugar maples that were gorgeous, and a cherry tree.
A Veed cherry and a Veed maple. Looking at them, they looked symmetrical, and they were this far apart.
It was
The
a nice
bases
part of
were
the
this
problem.
big around, right in the center. But it was right next to the right of way where they cut all the roots. First thing, the maple died, cut that down. Then the cherry died, cut that down.
All at our expense.
And a big maple, there was a pair of them over by Colin Pickersgill's. I looked at the leaves, the north side, they started to go. Said, well, we'll see what happens in the spring. Nothing. So down that tree came, this big around. How'd you replace a tree that big around? It'll never happen again.
So,
And the other one is dying. The only one that's there, it's half dead. Trouble is, it's so tall, who's responsible if those limbs break off and the car goes by and somebody gets killed? The landowner or the town?
I don't know, is it in our?
It's not an
right-of-way?
act of God.
Is it in our right of way?
how far is the right of way?
What is the right of way, 35 feet from the center?
Approximately 25 from the center, but it depends, every road is different, I would have to check with.
It's within the right of way.
But if you talking the tree or where the limb hangs out?
I'm talking the tree.
Had they not dug there, those trees would still been good.
So the other
They
piece.
killed the roots, and they're not going on their word that they're gonna replace what they damaged, of course. They went belly up. Thus, the rocks that are in my front yard, I can't move them. I need something like a 580 case like the town has. And I told them, I said, put them there, but you clean them up and get rid of them. I'm giving you some time so you can get your project done, so you don't have to run all over the North Country. Put the good stuff here, put the boulders there,
We had the
and whatever.
landing in front, so as they did the project, they put a lot of stuff there from everywhere, from our neighbors and everybody.
The bike path.
Yeah.
The bike path. I had 100 tandem loads within a day. It was on a weekend, and Alan says, we gotta get rid of this stuff. You got a place for it? He said, I'll start at 9 o'clock. Well, I was in Alberg, and at 8 o'clock, I get a phone call. Can you come over? We got a dump truck on the front lawn, underneath the power lines. Got a big cedar stump stuck in the tailgate, and we can't get it out. Can you come over with your tractor and shake it? I said, yeah, I'll be there. So I was directing, you dump it here, you dump it there. The little tractor, I'm trying to move all that crap. And then when the guy was there, he said, I said, I don't want those stones, put them over there by Collins, so you can get them. Okay, well, he goes to lunch, another guy comes, stones this big around. I can't pick those up. And I didn't want them there, so now I'm stuck with them. Thus, I have the brush pile in the front.
One more thing.
I'll address that with Alan, but I thought he had addressed that in an old conversation, but again, I'm not sure.
But I know he's busy, so I didn't bother him, you know.
Elaine Manigold, who lives right across from the golf club, passed away. Her daughter has the house. She lives in Florida and here, so she's back and forth. I talked to her about the sewer district going through, and she wanted to be informed when this is going to take place, because she doesn't want any work done on her property unless she's there, so she would need notification so she can come up from Florida.
It's gonna be a while.
Well, that's why we're asking, we wanna know what side of the road it's going to be on, and when.
At best case, construction would start approximately 12 to 14 months from now. So completion would be in 2026, probably late summer or fall. I'll know more details as it moves forward, and I don't know which side it's going on, so the next step is gonna be going into the design stage, where then they'll get technical about exactly what side of the road it's gonna be on, et cetera.
Which begets the next question. You've got your water line here, if you place a sewer line next to it, and there is some catastrophic event, and your sewer line now contaminates your water line,
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
I mean, I'm sure
No,
that
I
there
think
is
there's
a legal
something-
ruling on that, but I just want,
It probably is, but I don't know the answer.
well, I know, but we have a history here of not doing our homework, and that's why I'm coming to you now to make sure this is all in place,
It will.
because I don't wanna go through what we went through before.
Right. But I think there's a proximity from your intake water line to your sewer going out, a distance. And if he's at the distance now, that puts him either on the other side of the road
Which is a
or
possibility.
deeper into our property. And then if it goes into any deeper, all the maple trees in front of Collins and Bob Chapman's,
It's very likely to be on the other side. It's very common that they will run it on the other side of the road as a gas line. It's not unheard of.
All right, so now, when they did the water line, we don't want the water, but they punched a hole right in our foundation anyway and stuck the pipe through just in case.
we don't have the meter.
Is that going to happen with the sewer line? Because I really don't want a sewer pipe punched into my foundation.
Well, that's gonna be dependent upon whether you want it brought to your house or not. 'Cause
Well,
if
we
you-
didn't want the water brought to our house, but they brought the
But
line.
we're still paying for it and,
You
No,
must
we
have
brought the
had
line right up.
line.
and-
well,
Line was
we
into the
opted
basement.
for it because I said, at least it'll be there. I don't wanna be hooked up, so we have the shut off at the road and it's capped off in the basement. And that way it's done,
So that's our call.
if that was something. And with that saying,
Okay, I can live with
okay, now we don't, say, suppose they don't enforce you have to have water, because it goes in front of you, you're still paying for it, but you don't have it. You got a dang good well, and, the day that goes dry, town of Champlain's gonna be dead. So we went down at 90 feet and hit a 15-foot 8-inch vein. That's how deep it is, but how vast is it, right? And the water's within 6 feet from the top, okay, one length of casing. So the question being, suppose the sewer line ruptures, and people that opted not to get the water, now their veins could be contaminated with sewer. Is that a possibility?
I think that's awful slim. I really don't remember a sewer line ever rupturing, period. They're,
Things happen.
you know, they're not under pressure, so
No, I understand that.
it's not like a water line. And I would say it's probably no more severe than your leach field on your property. 'Cause
We've got plenty of leach fields.
the
Instead of
leach-
50
the
foot,
leach
I
fields
put
are leaching
75
into-
feet and I
into
put
the ground
5.
as well.
And I'm in clamshells. Jimmy LaFave, when he dug it, he said, here's a piece of stone. I've got it, it's this big, and it's solid fossils. He said, you've got one of the best leach fields around. Meaning that at one time, we were covered with water.
it. Will we be
Right.
notified when construction on our street will begin?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, you're gonna have to go door to door to find out who's gonna wanna be hooked into the service or not, because it's gonna be provided, if you wanna get hooked into the service, it's at no cost. As compared to, you know, a year later or 2 years later, if you want to, then it's at your cost to get hooked up.
So we don't take the water, we're probably not gonna take the sewer, but we're still, what will be the additional cost?
$100 a month, right? $1,200 a year, whether you take it or not. It's like the water,
No.
500.
No, because you won't have the KGAL charge, so you would be a little less than that if you're not taking it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, can't answer that question to
Yeah, be-
a detail either,
All right.
at this point.
At today's cost, $1,200, I could pump that septic system 3 to 3.5 times a year
Mhm.
and still be below the cost of what we would be charged had we had the sewer. See what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
Okay, you answered my questions
Okay,
so far, thank you.
you're welcome. Okay,
On the golf for the Heifer Group.
so now we gotta move on to the public hearing on preliminary budget, please. Send me a motion to recess the regular meeting and open the public hearing.
Who lost?
I'll make a motion to exit the regular business meeting and enter into the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay. So now the public hearing is open. Do you want to speak to to the preliminary budget. To answer your question from earlier, yes, we prepare to approve it, and we could modify it on the same night based on comments that we feel, you know, are relevant.
Okay.
But it has to be approved, but there's a time frame to have that budget approved and in place. It's not, it's a process.
Gotcha, I understand.
Okay.
Okay, I just have, again, a few questions. I will go specifically, I'll go quick. Account A1430.1 personnel payroll, who are they? Account A7550.4, there's a celebration contractual, what exactly is this for? And account A8725.4, post monitoring, landfill monitoring, 100% increase. Now, given what Calvin was just talking about, how is that justified? Account B47.
Can we take them one at a time?
Yeah, yeah, let's slow that down.
Let's back up to the,
Oh,
let's,
Back up to the first one.
Everybody follow along, here's some copies.
no, let's take them one at a time,
Yeah,
because
let's go one at a
otherwise.
time.
Well, you don't have to, whatever, I mean, you don't have to answer them
we do if you wanna
individually,
act on
but
this.
you're welcome to. You can answer them after. You want me to just keep going and then you can answer them after?
No, they can start over, Senator.
Start over, personnel payroll, who are they? Doing it this way, I will go over my 5 minutes, but
Well,
you opted to do it this way.
it's because we're in public hearings, so
Okay.
it's a little bit different.
Okay,
So, personnel payroll is the payroll for the employees here.
but which employees? I mean, it's like a $71,000 budget, and you have more
It
employees.
gets split between different accounts, so it's not all under one account.
Okay, it's not like
Example.
specific people aren't in that account.
Sarah, could you speak to that more specifically for me, because it's, every employee is split between different accounts, depending, example, you know, code
Yeah,
officer.
it's by department according to the
Right.
budget printout that I got, I get that, yeah.
Okay,
But personnel is different from, say, the council members, you know what I'm saying? You following me? My train of thought?
What account number?
It is A1430.1.
Okay, that is mine, but that is also including all my vacation for the past 6 years, that's also including all my sick time for the past if I choose to leave at the end of the next year, that budget has to have that funding for me to get paid.
Okay. Account A7550.4, celebration contractual, what's that for?
That is for like our donation to the Ross's Point Parade, the Veterans Memorial, the video, like our marketing for our website and stuff like that.
Okay. A8725.4, post monitoring, landfill monitoring, there's 100% increase. Now, given what Calvin was saying about all of the reduction in landfill availability, how is that
It's
justified?
Totally separate, totally separate. So the landfill is the old landfill that is now closed. What the county owns and Casella owns is just that little piece in the front.
Okay.
Like half an acre. The landfill is closed and it's our responsibility to monitor it annually. And that's the cost of monitoring it annually. We've been doing it since it was closed. And we'll do it until they get numbers, results that are acceptable. And we're this close to possibly being able to just monitor every 3 years. But it depends on what they get for samples this coming summer.
Okay, I understand that, but so you're saying that the cost from last year, or from this year to next year is going to double to do that, to do monitoring?
No, that's
Yeah.
after that.
Yes, this year was 23,000, we were under the amount.
It's 70.
So I have to match what was this year.
Okay, so the budget copies that you gave me don't agree with what you say.
Right, that is the budget that I gave you.
Last year was 10,000, this year's 20.
Right, that's what was agreed on for last year.
Correct.
That doesn't mean the amount that came in from Casella was that amount. That's what we budgeted for, and that's what I expected. They came back, there was more testing done throughout 2024. So that amount was more like 20,000 this year.
So it sounds like Casella is really sticking it to you. They're lessening their
They're
hours.
sticking it to everybody.
Yeah.
It's hard to, it depends on, it's a timing thing. So if they, and I'm trying to get my head around it, but if they test more at the end of the year, you get double billed in the next year. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wasn't expecting so much in 2024.
When's their contract up?
We're hoping 2026, they get to reevaluate, and then we go down to the 3 years.
We're hoping that we have results that will allow us to be
Yes.
every 3 years.
Are there no other bidders?
No,
Wow.
no, it's not set up that way when it was closed. It's under contract that we have to do this.
But contracts aren't forever.
Well, when you're working with DEC and et cetera, yeah, they are forever. It's a requirement. And I wasn't here at that time, so I can't speak to those details on how it was laid out when we closed it.
I'm just saying, maybe there's an option other than Casella.
Isn't Casella a Vermont-based company?
Yeah.
Could you speak in more detail to that? Because it's not just Casella. I mean, we pay Barton and the Judas for a report.
Right, they are the ones that's doing the monitoring to make sure it's in the levels that it needs to be,
And then we pay for it.
and then we get billed for it, yes.
Okay, anyway, the Hometown Heroes account, it's like a $2,000 thing that was listed on the copy that Sarah gave me. Is that for putting the signs up and taking them back down, or what is that for? Because the people who have the signs, I mean, individuals pay for those banners.
Correct, yes. That is if something comes out that is unforeseen.
It's a safety net, basically.
Yes, in a roundabout way, say, heaven forbid, 10 of them get broken,
Right.
and we don't have enough funding in that account. Not to say that we're expecting it, but 10 of them get broken throughout the year, the town is responsible for them for the duration that we have it for the 3 years. Their funding should, especially when we first started, was just recouping. We didn't have enough money in there. It was a safety net just in case we needed more brackets or we needed, Jason, what other stuff?
Yeah, it's just to ensure that the program can be self-sustaining. It pretty much is almost all funded by itself, like you said. Anybody who takes on a banner, they do have to pay the fee. I wanna say it's $225, Sarah, is that correct?
I think so.
And then that pays for almost everything, but there's like a little extra, like leftover that we put in there. But we just wanna make sure in case, like Sarah said, we have a terrible windstorm and we lose 5 of the banners. We're not gonna go back to the families and ask them to replace them. We will replace them on their behalf. And we've only had a couple of instances where that's
Yes.
happened, but we've needed a little money to be able to ensure that the banners can be up and things, so, yeah.
Okay.
The banners are also put up by the Champlain Telephone Company, a technology group,
Free
for
of-
free of charge.
Free of charge.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
they donate their time and
Well,
their
that's
equipment.
nice. Yeah. Okay, account B 9060.8, hospital insurance. On the copies that Sarah gave me, you're showing a 50% increase for next year. The national average is projected to be between 5.8% and 7% for hospital and health insurance for 2025.
What if,
Increase in number of insured, for one thing.
yes,
You know, in other words, we had one person that got married, that's now a family plan, that actually doubled the cost. That's one example.
yes.
Okay. Account B 4540.4, the ambulance, there's a $30,000 increase in that, and at the September 10th meeting of this year, Mr. Hunter had made the statement that the Champlain EMS agreement showed an 11% increase, and that there's been a $10,000 increase in billing each year. Mr. Bory also questioned this. What was the justification from Champlain EMS for that?
That is their justification was that is their budget. The $30,000 increase would be for raises for the personnel. Because all we pay for in our tax is towards their personnel. What they collect and charge pays for their equipment.
Okay.
But that's not it's not exactly a negotiable.
No, I was just curious because two of your council members had questioned it, and
Yeah, we
in the minutes it
tried
was
to get a
said
better
that
understanding of
there
what
would be
the increase
follow-up.
was for.
Okay, so for the fire district, there's no account number listed. The roughly $500,000 increase for the fire district for 20 and 24 is understood to be for the new facility. My question here is this a 2-year increase for this project, or will there be a comparable amount listed in the 26 budget as well? Is that construction being divided over a 2-year period? Is that what the $500,000 increase is for?
You know, it's over more than 2 years.
It's gonna be more than 2 years?
Yeah.
So it's more than $1 million
They've
building?
They've got, yes, they've got a loan to pay back on that.
How much is that building costing?
Does anybody here remember those numbers when it was presented to us? You have to remember, they are not a private entity, they are a district. So they're a municipality. So
I understand that.
It's prevailing wage, so it doubles the cost of everything. You know, it's something that the state,
So that's going to be on the budget for at least another year,
oh,
or more?
much more than that, yes.
Wow. Okay, with respect to overall payroll, please justify why the code officer and the bookkeeper earn a higher rate of pay than a seasoned veteran who not only has held the same position for 1/4 of a century, but is literally the glue that holds the town office together. I understand everyone receives the 4% cost of living increase across the board. However, a cost of living increase is very different from a base salary increase, which reflects the loyalty to this community, the remarkable amount of work accomplished and produced, the dedication to the position held, and the, excuse me, the overall genuine willingness to assist any and all community members, regardless if the assistance requested is the responsibility of the position held. I don't see where there's fairness in salary.
Well, that's how we chose to do our rate increases. And yes, it's part of the budget, but that's not are you telling us we need to increase that portion of the budget?
Okay, so how would we go about getting Mrs. Castine a base salary increase?
I guess you'd have to get a seat on this board so you can speak to that. It was just,
Well, you're
made it-
seated on the board, you
we-
speak to it.
we made our decision, that's not a, open to public decision on why the decision was made to be 4% across the board, but it was.
No, I'm not
I think-
questioning the cost of living.
I think calling the board on that on camera is very unfair.
I'm not questioning the cost of living, I'm questioning the unfairness in
Right.
base salary. Not your raises, the base salaries.
The base salary is very close, that's all I'm gonna say. I don't think you're seeing all the numbers in there.
Well, I only see what apparently you wanted me to see.
Well, again, when you look at the numbers of salaries in here, it includes all the bank time, and that makes it look much different.
Right.
If you knew what the actual base salaries were on each, they're all very close. That's all I'm saying, I'm done with that.
Okay. With respect to the overall budget, there's rumors about that the town has gone over the current year's budget. If this is so, please enlighten us as to what shenanigans took place to cause this. And if this is the case, then perhaps the water board committee could look into areas of excess and unnecessary spending rather than making recommendations on spending more money. Did the town go over the budget for this year? Is that rumor true, I guess is what I'm
If you're
asking.
talking the tax cap, no, we're squeaking under it. But if we did go over, it was not from shenanigans, okay? Things like the $30,000 increase in EMS, that counts against our tax cap.
Okay.
Even though it's not money that we're taking in and keeping for the budget, that's simply taxed to you and paid. Has nothing to do with us, but unfortunately, it gets against the tax cap. And as far as the water board committee, that is two separate items completely.
Well, there's most likely unnecessary and overspending that could be cut.
I think that this board does a great job of being fiscally responsible. Is there overspending? Not that I know of.
Okay.
Could we spend more to do more? We could. We try to be stringent and stay under the tax cap. We always have. That's my answer.
Okay, well, those were all reasonable questions.
Cindy, before you leave, I just want to make sure you're aware that this particular group of people met 4 different times.
No, I
For probably
understand that.
between 2 and 3 hours to analyze each and every one of these line items. And I think in all fairness, I think we're more than happy to answer all these questions, but there was nothing that was underboard here.
No, and I'm not saying that
Okay.
there is, I just had reasonable questions, there's increases here and there, and I was just curious as to why this is a public hearing, I am the public,
I like the way you did it in terms of individual account numbers, and your questions can be answered to those, but to just have something very general and vague is kind of misleading. So, please, thank you.
I'm done. Carry on. You have anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I hope we answered them well enough. With that said, I think we're able to close the public hearing and go back to general business, please.
Make a motion to close the public hearing and return to the regular meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, report from the supervisor. Good evening. We celebrated Veterans Day yesterday, and I wish to extend our appreciation to all veterans for our freedom. I want to share a patriotic quote from an unknown author. For the veteran, thank you for bravely doing what you were called to do so we can safely do what we're free to do. And congratulations to our NCCS boys and girls soccer teams for winning the sectional championships. And congratulations to the following All-Stars. For the first team boys, Ashton Turner, Eddie Boris. Second team boys, Max Rabideau and Kays Carpenter. And for the girls, I do not have the announcement yet on who was chosen for the All-Stars, so we'll have to pick that up later. The installation and dedication of the interpretive panels and historical wayside markers for Dewey's Tavern and Cemetery at Bodvin Park was completed on October 18th and 22nd respectively. These panels were originally installed in the house owned by Louis Bedard, which is the historical Dewey's Tavern. Since the house is now going to be for sale, our town historian and fellow historian David Patrick wanted to place these appropriately at our park. With that, I want to thank our highway superintendent Alan Racine for helping with the installation of these panels and markers on his own time. He and I and David Patrick installed those. I would also like to thank David Patrick for helping that day as well. Additionally, I want to thank John Trombley from Modern Mechanical for coming to our rescue to assemble the panels as we were missing the hardware. Town of Champlain hosted a defensive driving course on November 2nd, and there were 19 people in attendance. The next course scheduled would be held in Rouse's Point on February 1st, 2025. We'll have more details for that as we get closer. Our October 26th Halloween fun run was very successful and loads of fun. There were 25 contestants who participated in this event. I wish to thank all of our contestants, the NCCS Outdoor Club for assisting, the NCCS cross-country runners who both assisted and ran the 5K, and Nikki Malinsky for keeping us on track. And thank you to Councilmember Bory and Hunter for helping us as well. I would certainly be remiss not to say a huge thank you to coaches Rob Guerin and Adam Cater for assisting with the scheduling and setting up the kids course. And also thank you to Shazy Orchards for donating the apples for our runners. The following were our first and second place winners. Kids Fun Run was Riley Ballard. 3K race, first place was Ava Samples, second place was Robin Wall. The 5K race, first place was Reagan Martineau, second place was Colin Favreau. And again, all proceeds from this event go towards the Outdoor Fitness Center for Bob Venn Park. The next Trex Plastic Program, we're getting close. To date, we've collected approximately 850 pounds of plastic. We need to collect approximately 150 pounds to reach our goal by November 25th. Please save and bring in your various plastic bags and packaging so we can reach our goal and receive a bench for our parks. That includes any shrink wrapping, any bubble wrap, all that type of material, anything that's stretchable plastic. Visit our Facebook page or call for details. And another announcement would be our governor announced a statewide burn ban tonight. Oops, I got a typo. This is in effect until November 30th due to increased fire risk. And let's not forget, we had the driest October ever up here, so we're not any different than anywhere else.
Just drive by the lake to see the water level.
I know, it's amazing how much it went down.
Yeah.
Report on projects. Cardin Road Bridge. Construction is completed and just yesterday the railings and guardrails were installed. The road is now open for travel. Thank you to everyone, especially the residents who were directly affected by this closure, for your patience. Comprehensive plan revision. The next planning committee meeting is tomorrow, November 13th. These committee meetings are closed meetings, however there'll be open public meetings scheduled periodically through the process to gain feedback from the community. The first community meeting is planned for December 5th from 5:30 to 7:30. It will be held at the Champlain Catholic Men's Club on 3 Oak Street in the village of Champlain. We'll have more details to that on our link on the website. So the project timelines, the meeting minutes, and any public sessions, this being one of them, will be available through the link on our website. Please visit our website periodically to keep informed. Miramar Properties. Now, the 19 acres with the mall, we're currently having conversations with the owners on forming a plan to remove the hazardous and dilapidated building. It has many code violations that we're working on. This is ongoing and will take an extended period of time. The 22 acres to the north that was submitted for housing, I've been informed the funding was secured to complete a countywide feasibility study, and the firm has been retained to complete the study. Clinton County IDA and the Lake George, Lake Champlain Regional Planning are working on this. They're telling me it's getting close. We're hoping for a report soon. I've got it written in the coming months. I'm hoping it's sooner than that. The Bob Venn Fitness Center project. The DASNY application is in review stage currently, as it has been for 12 months. We're striving to get pre-approval in the coming weeks. The equipment for the fitness court will not be purchased until funding is improved. Weather and time permitting, we'll begin the excavation and site preparation. I have a meeting tomorrow with DASNY and Billy Jones' office and the NFC as well, to try to mitigate how we can answer the questions and get this done. Great Chazy River Project. Barton and LaJudas is currently preparing a proposal for the feasibility study for dredging the river down at the mouth and also at the upper end by the boat launch in the village of Champlain. Clinton County Health Department complete streets. There's work remaining to complete the following improvements to our streets and recreation trail. The Highway Department will try to fit this into their schedule this fall, weather permitting. Some will probably have to wait till spring. But we're trying to find time to get a crosswalk at Church Street and South Street to increase safety for pedestrians walking to Dollar General. And the removal of the shared road markings on Prospect along the rec trail. That'll probably be spring. The new Cheryl markings that need to be added on the trail directly will be spring. And we'll be doing no parking signs and benches to be installed at Perry's Mills Park. That will probably be spring as well at this point, because I don't think we're gonna require them through the winter. Elm Street Culvert Project. We've been awarded $1.497 million from New York State Bridge New York Grant Funding Program. This year's program requires the municipalities to administer the capital project. This is a lengthy process and at best, we expect to be under construction in 2026. Sewer District 7 project, we just recently were awarded a New York State Water Infrastructure Improvement Grant, a WIA grant, to the tune of $5.477 million. This amount added to our previous award of $5.685 million through the Federal Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act of 2021, also known as the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, which is known as BIL, B-I-L. Makes this project 98% funded. This is unprecedented, and the town of Champlain is extremely fortunate and grateful of these funding programs. It's amazing. Public announcements. The Knights of Columbus and Champlain EMS will hold a blood drive at Champlain EMS Station on Route 11 on November 18th. That's next Monday. The drive starts at 3 p.m. and runs until 7 p.m. Please donate, as there is always a great need for blood. And additionally, all donors will be entered into monthly drawings for a $50 gift card for Target each month. So winners will be announced at the end of each month by the Donor Center. The Lions Club is still collecting used eyeglasses to help those with vision impairment. They can be dropped off at the Plattsburgh Library and any Walmart Vision Center. Please visit our website and Facebook page for information on events going on around town. And the town would like to appoint more alternates to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board. Please consider serving the town in this capacity, as we need talented citizens of this township to become involved and assist us in moving forward. Please contact me if you have any interest for details. And please note, please feel free to stop in. I'd be happy to discuss town's projects and objectives with you. My door is always open, but it's best to call first. There's many appointments and meetings that fill my schedule. And again, thank you to all veterans and active military men and women for your service. Also, thank you to all our first responders, both paid and volunteer, of our EMS and fire departments, and our police officers for your dedication to your community. Thank you. Reports from the council members. Councilmember Hunter, start on this side today.
Let's see, let's start off with the Champlain Fire Department. I'd like to announce that over the past month, the dry hydrants on the Bayshard Road, Lakeshore Road, and the Leggett Road are now complete. And they have finished installing the new strainers on each of those hydrants. The only remaining hydrant we have in this project, of course, is the Cardown Road Bridge installed. And now that the bridge is complete, I'm sure that will move forward. New railings installed, and they'll get together with Big Water to install this system similar to the one that has been completed on the Stetson Road. The new fire station is progressing, and the focus over the next few weeks will be on completing the roof structure and closing the building before winter arrives. Rouse's Point Fire Department, the announcement would be the annual Children's Christmas Party will be held on December 14th from noon till 3 p.m. Public skating schedule. First of all, if you go on to the Plattsburgh State Athletics website, GoCardinalsports.com, you can actually find the 2024-2025 public skating schedule. In addition to the Rouse's Point Civic Center also has a schedule that is out now for their public skating. Currently, it will be held on November 16th from 12 to 2, November 17th from 12 to 2, November 29th from 1:30 to 3:30, and on December 7th from 4 to 6. Public skating is $2 per person. Stick and puck is $5 per person. Again, if you check on the Village of Rouse's Point's website, go to the calendar, you can actually see those particular dates and other information. We have other public skating hours right through to the end of the year, but I'm gonna wait and hold on those until our December meeting. The Rouse's Point Village Board meeting, of course, is held on the first and third Monday of each month. The next Rouse's Point Village Board meeting will be held on November 18th at 7 o'clock. Also, the Canadian Pacific Kansas City Southern holiday train is scheduled to be on November 26th, tentatively to arrive at the Rouse's Point station at 8:45 p.m. and it will continue till about 9:30. Please bring any food donations that you can as they help out the local food bank. And last, in regards to those announcements, Small Business Saturday is upcoming on November 30th. Please get out and support your small businesses. So I think that is everything until later on with other business. So.
And I'll add to yours, if people go to the North Country Chamber of Commerce website, they will have a complete, they ask for local businesses to sign up and say what their deals are gonna be or whatever's going on Small Business Saturday, so you might get a pretty comprehensive list, but I think the point, that's a great point, people should try to shop local whenever possible.
And to your point on the dry hydrant for Cardin Road, we've already sent an email to Great Big Water, so it's
good.
They've requested photographs. Chris Trombley's gonna do photos of the railings, and we're gonna see if he's gonna need to come up here to do any measuring or not, but that's gonna start moving forward. And we do need to get one in there. Thank you. Councilman Boris.
Sure. Alright. So I'll start with ZBA, Zoning Board of Appeals, met on October 17th at 5:30. There was an application, but it was withdrawn at that meeting. They did hold a public hearing that was scheduled for that particular application, even though it was being withdrawn. And the final decision was the ZBA voted on the appeal that was being discussed, that they felt like the filing was not in a timely manner, so they didn't go any further with it. And Julie, I just want to clarify, is there a meeting scheduled for this month? Is there business?
Not right now, we don't have anything.
So as of right now, the meeting that would normally be scheduled for the third Thursday of the month at 5:30 here at the town office, there is no business before the ZBA as of right now, so currently there is no November meeting. If there is gonna be a meeting, if some business does become for the board, please check our website, townofchamplain.com for that. I'll go with marketing next. We had the opportunity to review the first round of what we hope to be a series, I think to quote you, of business testimonials from some of our local business owners within the township. This includes the town directly and the 2 villages that reside within. And I don't know if the other marketing members want to speak to it, but I thought they were fantastic reflections. First-hand accounts, testimonials as to why we live in such a great place. And if I can use the idea of a Valentine or a Hallmark card to our area, that's how I would describe it. It's really, you know, if anybody outside of our area is wondering about what makes this place run, what makes it so special, and how a business is sustainable here, they are letting you know that. And you cannot get any better advertisement than from the horse's mouth about why a business can work here. So we're hoping that goes far and wide, and everybody's gonna start looking at Champlain as the next place to.
And they should be live soon.
Yes, they're gonna come out in different increments. So be looking for those. And we wanna thank all of our local businesses, as you'll see, the ones that were selected for the first round. Thank them very much for their time doing this filming. And if there are any businesses in the town that would like to get involved with our future rounds, our series, please contact us and we'll put you on the list. We'd love to have you, so. Very exciting, you can tell we're excited. The next bit is about HEAP. So this is New York State's Home Energy Assistant Program, helping families, helping homes be able to get through the winter months. Applications are now open, they open November 1st. We recommend that you go to otda.ny.gov/programs/HEAP, or if you just simply type in New York State HEAP program into a search engine, you can go to that website and check out whether you qualify for assistance. And this not only includes heating, but also can include in monies towards taking your home and making it more energy efficient. So it can include that as well. So you can also call a phone number, 1-800-342-3009. And again, that's the New York State's Home Energy Assistance Program. They have millions of dollars to be able to help families in New York State. Next, it is getting to be the holiday season. Councilmember Hunter alluded to some of the activities coming up. Our local JCEO is located in the village of Champlain, the Champlain Outreach JCEO. Julie Bouchard is the person there. You can call at 518-298-2373 for more information. You can also reach her at jbouchard, BOUCHARD, @jceo.org. They're located at 1104 Route 9 in the village of Champlain. They're your connection for food assistance. They're your connection for getting connections through the Christmas Bureau, our local Clinton County Christmas Bureau. And if you want to contact the Christmas Bureau directly, you can do that at 518-562-1253. Ultimately, their goal is to make sure that everybody can have a happy holiday season in a way to help families that need assistance. That would be putting holiday food on the table, putting gifts under the tree, or however you celebrate next to the menorah. Just contact them if you are in need, and they'll be sure to help you. You can also check out the Christmas Bureau on Facebook, so check that out. They have a Facebook page. In connection with that, Goss Chevrolet here in town is holding a holiday toy drive. Currently started just the other day, and it goes through December 14th. And they're collecting, their drop-off point, they're collecting toys, so bring an unwrapped toy, new toy, to Goss Chevrolet. They're collecting for the Christmas Bureau. So that starts right now.
What was the end date?
The 14th.
Thank you.
So it's current right now, so if you go to Gosh, you can drop that stuff off at, they are a drop-off point.
I didn't know that, that's great.
Yeah. The other thing I'm gonna mention is Hometown Heroes. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but we wanna thank the Champlain Technology Group for all of their help. They help us put the banners up, they help us take the banners down, and they do that all as a public service. So we thank them very much for their time and their effort. The banners are coming down as we speak, and they'll be put away, stored until next year. But we do ask that anybody that wants to put an application in for this coming year, 2025, banners, we're taking new applications as of right now. You can check out the application information on our website, townofchamplain.com, or you can call Sarah here at the town office, and she'll be more than happy to help you with an application. We are again looking for new applicants for the 2025 year. My last is a school plug. The NCCS Drama Club is going to be presenting the classic dark comedy, Arsenic and Old Lace, November 22nd through the 24th at the NCCS High School, presented in the Francis Budmore Auditorium. Showtimes are Friday the 22nd at 7, Saturday the 23rd at 7, and Sunday the 24th at 2 p.m. Tickets are available at the door, and you can purchase them online. Just simply go to the NCCS website, and the tab is there. Thank you.
When will you have flyers available?
for the play. I'm embarrassed to say that I wish I had one in my car right now, but I don't, but I will bring one to you so we can get that on our Facebook page.
Okay.
So ends the report.
Thank you, Mr. Murray.
My turn.
Yes,
Okay.
Councilmember Southwick, please.
In follow-up to Supervisor Trombley's Next Trex information, we now have a second Next Trex collection box conveniently located in the foyer of Champlain Technology Group.
Awesome.
We thank them for allowing us to place one there. That will assist us in our quest for another bench and for reducing the landfill of plastics. Help yourself when you're paying your bill to drop off your plastic. Champlain Rouse's Point Youth Commission 2024-2025 basketball registration forms are now available to sign up your 3rd and 4th grade boys and girls, and to sign up your 5th and 6th grade boys and girls. Those applications are located in the town and village, on the town and village websites, on the Facebook. I believe you can pick one up at the town office. I'm not sure if they have them at the schools, but they may also have them at the schools. The planning board met on November 7th. The sole item on the agenda was tabled until a future meeting. Their next meeting is scheduled on December 5th at 5:30 here at the town office. That is an annual organizational meeting, so I believe, Julie, right, they will have that meeting?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And the only other thing I had on the agenda was about the Bob Park sign.
Mhm.
So we would talk about that later on in the schedule.
We can, yeah,
Okay.
that'd be fine.
Okay, so that's all I have.
Thank you. I got a question on the, thank you for getting the collection box
Box
for
over
Trex over there. Are they gonna call when it's full so I
I-
can pick it up, or how did you make arrangements for that?
Yes, I told Janelle that I would give her a call and I would either pick it up weekly if needed, or she was gonna call me if it was full, and I would just go
Oh,
and pick it
okay.
up.
Thank you.
And I need to get some backs from you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, report from the town clerk, please.
You have my monthly report for review and approval.
Yes, we do. So we need a motion to approve the report as presented.
I'll make a motion that we approve the town's clerk report for October 1st through the 31st. Total local revenue in the amount of $731.26. Total revenue was $3,492.70.
Correct. I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye. Excuse me, any discussion? I got ahead of myself.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, Julie, I think that's a fee that I don't remember seeing very often on here, redemption fee
Yeah, that's for the dogs.
for the dogs, okay.
Oh, for the
Right,
one
right,
dog,
right.
that the dog was picked up and the owner
Yeah,
wanted
it's
it
for
back.
I see,
Yeah,
okay,
dog
very
birthday.
good, yeah.
I think I remember reading that in
And
the
the
report, you have
dog
one.
report.
Okay, so I'll just repeat that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. Your signed copy. Okay, review of the post audit bills, the abstract. I'm gonna feel like it's just out of order. Any questions on the post audit bills? If not, we'll move on to the monthly bills. And we have some additionals, you should have a copy in front of you. So, welcome a motion to approve the monthly bills with the additionals of $399.60, $67, $75.53, and $75.69 for eligible press for public notices. The grand total was $64,148.15.
And just to to announce a large portion of that, of course, is for the salt in the amount of over $24,400.
Tis the season.
Tis the season.
That is correct.
So. I do have one question in terms of those bills. That Sensa, that phone renewal, in the amount of $299.40, what is that?
The sensophone,
Yeah,
that's for our alarming at the booster station and the lift station, correct?
okay.
They both use the same sensophone system.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of great comments from people in the public in regards to the paving that was done on the corner of 276 and Prospect Street. I just want to put it out there.
Thank
So
you.
we want to kind of thank all the people that were involved. I'm sure Al Emerson had a large amount to do with it. And then
Yes, I should have had that in the report, so I'm sorry.
if you want to just make a mention to that.
Yeah,
So that the
because
public can.
And actually, one constituent told me to make sure a username, that was Sally Smith, was very excited about the beautiful job that he did. So we want to thank Alan Racine, but we also want to give thanks to Moores for helping with the paving. They brought their paver up, and Ross's Point came up and did the cutting, so it was a real shared service project, as most of them are. I mean, I really, Alan works very well with all the other municipalities, and it's always a team effort, so, yes. So Sally wanted to make sure I thanked Alan. I forgot that in my report, don't tell her. Thanks, Rick.
You're welcome.
Anyways, motion to approve is presented.
I'll make a motion that we approve the bills with the additions in the amount of $64,140.15.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Anything else that needs to be described and pointed out? And you'll see another portion of this is a parcel of land that we purchased for Bob Van too.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's three payments there, 4,000 each.
Yep.
That is now closed. Okay, can we have a roll call, please, Julie?
Councilmember Southwick,
Aye.
Councilmember Ward,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, reports from the code officer. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Holding an answer.
Well, in looking at this, he's got on here that, the report says 14 records at $693.70, but on mine, building permits, it only's got $373.70. So I don't know, I don't think the dates are jiving or something.
How many reports did you have?
What?
How many total reports did you have?
I don't know
On
offhand.
yours?
I don't know, I'd have to check to see, I don't, yeah, but I don't know, I'm gonna have to check with him and see why the numbers are different.
You're referring to this total of 14 here.
Yeah,
So we
don't show a number on, well, it says on here 5.
Yes.
And that's why I'm wondering what the difference is. Unless, oh, I think I know now. This includes Ross's Point too.
Yes, that's
Yes,
right.
it does.
Well, it includes both villages.
It's showing the villages and that's why.
Yes.
I just didn't want somebody to think that the numbers weren't,
Well, I'm glad you clarified that.
you're jiving
Yeah,
because.
because you're right, it includes, it's an overall report.
Correct.
Yeah, and I just seen that now that it shows
Yeah,
Ross's
it does
Point
show
in the
that.
village, so.
Yep,
And I only, on my report, is only recording
Town.
what the town takes in,
okay,
Okay.
not with the other two. I
Okay.
just wanted to
that answers that.
clarify that in case somebody questioned it.
Yeah, that's a good point, thank you. Anything else with codes? Okay. Move on to the dog report, I hope you have time to review that. Sad to say
Yeah,
it's
the only
almost-
thing that I'd like to make a mention in regards to the dog control officer's report is if we could be given continual updates in regards to complaint 1002-28, please.
Oh, I think I know which one it is.
Well, it's the one that,
Yep, I can ask him to do that.
I think you know the one I'm referencing in
Yeah.
terms of the number of pets.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. I will ask him to send me regular emails.
Right.
Yeah, because the complaint stems back from August.
Yeah, and as we approach the winter months, and
Yeah, that's
you
concerning.
look at the temperatures and things, I'm concerned, so.
Well, from his description, doesn't feel they're being abused.
No,
There's
but
just too many.
Talking about the
malnourished,
human.
and that's a concern, so, thank you.
Okay. Okay, I don't have a formal report from the highway superintendent, but he's, unfortunately, I think they're gonna start getting ready for winter soon. And he's trying to catch up on some of these little jobs that we've got lined up for him. Under correspondence, we have charter communications. Associations of Towns 2025 Annual Meeting and Training School. I am not attending. We did not budget for it. I don't believe any of you here have asked to attend. I did attend a meeting, I don't know, about a month ago, and voiced to them that I really want them to do online virtual training again like they did during COVID. Because I said, not everybody can afford to go to this.
I agree.
Don't you agree?
At those prices.
Yeah, and that's,
I mean, it's more ancillary prices, too. It's
Right.
all the stuff that you have
Added on.
to have just to even go to it.
Right.
Travel,
well,
stay.
it's expensive.
Yeah.
And the reason they hold it in New York is it's the only place large enough to fit everybody. Is at these marquee hotel. That's what I was told anyway, so.
Yep.
I did stress that to them, that it was duly noted, he's gonna bring it back and discuss it, so hopefully we can get some sort of a more economical way of being trained. 7 to Save Endangered Sites Program, so thank you to David Patrick for doing the majority of the work to get this entered into the database in order to get us successfully submitted for an application for this. And what this will do is it will give it a designation, if they approve it for Dewey's Tavern. It doesn't lock anything in, but any grants that we go after in the future, if we were to try to, make that a historical museum, just for an example, that's a goal, but I don't know if we'll ever get there. but this will help us achieve that. So, it's a good step. Okay, new business. First up is resolution number 45 for the Elm Street Culvert Project. Authorizing the implementation and funding of 100% of the cost of a transportation project of which qualified costs may be reimbursed from Bridge New York funds. Whereas a project for the town of Champlain, PIN number 775440 and contract number D041534. Elm Street over tributary of the Great Shazy River project is eligible for reimbursement of qualified costs for Bridge New York funding that calls for the post-reimbursement apportionment of the qualified costs to be borne at the ratio of 100% Bridge New York funds and 0% non-Bridge New York funds. And whereas the town of Champlain will design, let, and administer all phases of the project, and whereas the town of Champlain desires to advance the project by making a commitment of 100% of the cost of design and construction work for the project or portions thereof. And now therefore the town of Champlain Board, the town board duly convened, does hereby resolve that the town board hereby approves the project, and it is hereby further resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the town of Champlain to pay 100% of the cost of design and construction work for the project or portions thereof, with the understanding that qualified costs will be reimbursed from Bridge New York funding. And it is further resolved that the sum of $1.497 million, or maybe I should read it differently, $1,497,000 is hereby appropriated from pursuant to a bond and made available to cover the cost of participation in the above phase of the project. And it is further resolved that the town board hereby agrees that the town of Champlain shall be responsible for all costs of the project, including costs which exceed the amount of reimbursement available from the New York Bridge funding awarded to the town of Champlain. And it is further resolved that in the event the costs of the project exceed the amount appropriated above, the town of Champlain shall convene as soon as possible to appropriate said excess amount immediately upon notification by the consultant thereof. And it is further resolved that the town board hereby agrees that the town of Champlain hereby commits that construction of the project shall begin no later than 24 months after award, and the construction phase of the project shall be completed within 30 months. And it is further resolved that the town supervisor, the town board of the town of Champlain be and is hereby authorized to execute all necessary agreements, certifications, or reimbursement requests with New York State DOT for state aid and/or Bridge New York funding on behalf of the town of Champlain in connection with the advancement or approval of the project and providing for the administration of the project and the municipality's funding of the project costs. And it is further resolved that the town of Champlain will be responsible for all maintenance of the project. And therefore be it resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be filed with the New York State Commissioner of Transportation by attaching it to any necessary agreement in connection with the project. And now therefore be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Motion to approve said resolution as written.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 45, 2024, the Elm Street Culvert Project as read and as printed in front of us.
I'll second.
Thank you. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Southwick,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. So, that out. Okay, moving on. Resolution 46, resolution number 46 of 2024, Resolution to abandon the old east section of the Bayshard Road in the town of Champlain. Whereas the town of Champlain has recognized that a section of Bayshard Road has not been used publicly for nearly 40 years, and whereas the town of Champlain Highway Department has not maintained this section of road during the last 40 years, and whereas the town of Champlain Highway Superintendent has requested in writing to the town board to abandon the old Bayshard Road as per New York State Highway Law subsection 205, and whereas the section of the Bayshard Road referred to as the old Bayshard Road is located east of the Canadian Pacific Rail adjacent to New York State Route 9B. And whereas it is situated within two parcels of farmland with parcel IDs numbered 49.2-11 and 49.2-10.1. And therefore be it resolved that the board of the town of Champlain authorizes the abandonment of the old Bayshard Road in town of Champlain. And now therefore be it further resolved, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Motion to approve said resolution as written.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 46 of 2024 as read by the supervisor.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Resolution number 47. This is a resolution to adopt the budget. Anyone have any relevant issues or changes needed based on the public hearing? Okay. I think we're all ready to move forward then. Resolution number 47 of 2024, Town of Champlain monthly meeting, November 12, 2024, to adopt the budget for fiscal year 2025. At a meeting of the Town of Champlain Town Board held on November 12, 2024, wherein the following action is taken. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Champlain has met at a time and place specified in the notice of public hearing on this day, November 12, 2024, to review the 2025 preliminary budget and heard all persons desiring to be heard thereon. Now therefore be it resolved that after having the public hearing, the preliminary budget is hereby adopted as the final budget for the town of Champlain for the fiscal year beginning the first day of January 2025. And that the attached budget as adopted be entered in detail in the minutes of the proceedings of the town board. And be it further resolved that the town clerk shall prepare and certify in duplicate copies of the said annual budget as adopted by this town board, together with the annual budgets for the fire district within the town and the emergency services company contracted for the town pursuant to town law subsection 115. And be it further resolved that within 10 days of receipt thereof from the town clerk, the supervisor will deliver one copy thereof to the Clinton County Board of Legislators for levy with county taxes. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the secretary, to the board, and bookkeeper. Motion to approve said resolution as written.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution number 47 of 2024, Town of Champlain monthly budget.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Can we do a roll call, please?
Councilmember Southwick,
Aye.
Councilmember Maury,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. Okay. Resolution number 49 to authorize the town,
48.
oops, sorry,
Sure, sir.
I jumped ahead. Resolution number 48 of 2024, resolution of the Town of Champlain, the Village of Rouse's Point, and the Village of Champlain, authorizing execution of a shared service agreement between the Village of Rouse's Point, Village of Champlain, and the Town of Champlain for public works related equipment. Whereas the Uniform Shared Services permits units of local government to share services for a particular purpose and to effectuate agreements for any service or circumstance that will aid and encourage a reduction of local expenses. And whereas the Village of Rouse's Point, Village of Champlain, and Town of Champlain are public bodies, corporate and politic of the state of New York, and are authorized under New York law to enter into a shared service agreement pursuant to the act. And whereas the Village of Rouse's Point, Village of Champlain, and Town of Champlain desire to enter into a shared services agreement for the utilization of public works related equipment and services. And whereas representatives of the Village of Rouse's Point, Village of Champlain, and Town of Champlain have negotiated a shared service agreement, and the terms of which are incorporated into this resolution as if set forth at length herein. And whereas it is the intention of the parties that the new agreement will be superseded and replace any previous shared service agreements for public works related services. And whereas it is in the best interest of the Village of Rouse's Point, Village of Champlain, and Town of Champlain to enter into the proposed municipal assistance shared service agreement as outlined in the shared services agreement. And now therefore be resolved by the mayors and supervisor of the Village of Rouse's Point, Village of Champlain, and Town of Champlain as follows. Number 1, that the appropriate officials be and are hereby authorized to execute the shared services agreement with the Village of Rouse's Point, Village of Champlain, and Town of Champlain for the use of public works equipment and services in substantially the form of the shared service agreement annexed hereto and made a part of hereof. Number 2, the purchase of a 2024 Bonag tandem roller in the amount of $50,332 under Sourcewell contract number 060122-BA. Each municipality will be required to afford 1/3 of the cost, with the Village of Rouse's Point being the lead agency. 3, the reimbursement cost will be provided by Clinton County in the amount of 1/2 of the purchase price over a 3-year period per personnel director, deputy/deputy county administrator. Each reimbursement payment will be divided equally per municipality. And be it further resolved that a roll call vote is carried to approve said resolution, and a copy of this resolution is to be given to the secretary of the board. We have a roll call, please. It didn't get written with a motion here, so.
Well, you need a motion.
You need a motion.
Make a motion. I don't know why that's not in there.
Go ahead, Jay.
All right, I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 48 of 2024, the shared agreement between the Village of Rouse's Point, Village of Champlain, and the Town of Champlain as presented by the supervisor.
Thank you.
And I'll second that motion.
Thank you. No, you do roll call.
Councilmember Southwick,
Aye.
Councilmember Ward,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. And now therefore be it further resolved, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Thank you very much. Send that off too. Resolution number 49 of 2024, resolution to authorize the Town of Champlain supervisor and highway superintendent to execute the Clinton County Highway Agreement for snow removal, sanding, and treating of county roads during the 2024-2025 snow and ice season. Whereas the town board of the Town of Champlain previously approved and authorized the town supervisor to execute a 3-year agreement with Clinton County Highway for snow removal and treating of county roads at the October 8th, 2024 business meeting. And whereas the Clinton County Highway Department has revised the aforesaid contract as a 1-year agreement for the 2024-2025 snow and ice season. And whereas the Clinton County Legislature approved the 1-year agreement at the legislative meeting on October 23rd, 2024. And now, therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the town supervisor and the town highway superintendent to sign and execute the 1-year agreement for the sum of $126,330 for snow removal, sanding, and treating on 15.56 miles of Clayton County roads. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution along with 2 copies of the signed agreement be forwarded to the Clayton County Highway Superintendent. Motion to approve said resolution as written.
I have a question.
Okay.
My question
ahead.
is in regards to the amount, the 126,330. I noticed that it actually indicates that this is for, regular, the 15.56 miles, but it does not mention snow belt, the 5.53. Is that included in this?
It's in the contract, yes.
Okay, so it's just omitted from the actual resolution?
Correct, but the total is correct, right?
I don't know, that's
Yeah.
what I'm asking.
The total was correct.
That's why I wanna know.
The total of 15.56 is correct. I think 5 miles of that is the snow belt roads, and it's all encompassed.
I know the regular is correct, it's just that it doesn't include the snow belt amount of 5.53 miles, and I didn't know if that was reflected in that amount or not.
It is. I don't have the agreement in front of me though, so I have to go grab it to pick it out.
Do you want us to make a motion in a second to get it, to work it, and then it looks
Yeah,
like
yeah,
maybe the
let's-
contract is coming, and we can just double check it, but I
Mhm.
think the question's valid. I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 29 of 2024, the agreement to allow the supervisor here in the town of Champlain and the highway superintendent to execute this agreement with Clinton County Highway Department as presented by the superintendent.
Sorry.
Thank you very much.
You're
Found it on my desk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it says 5.53 miles snow belt. So your question is that snow belt included in that cost? And
Correct.
I believe it is, I'm trying to find it. Snow belt rate. Here it is. So yes, it is. So on this table,
Yeah.
you'll see that it's the rate for regular roads, the rate for snow belt roads, and the amount to be paid to the town per season.
Yeah, let me just get a copy of that, thank you. I'm just going to that, yeah. Thank you very much.
I'll give you a copy.
That's all right, Sarah, I can write it right down here. Thank you very much.
Would you want me to add the 5.53 snow belt, or you?
I would like to see that, only because it kind of identifies that
I
the
can, so I
full
will,
amount
I
is.
will put treating of 15.56 miles plus 5.53, correct?
Correct.
5.53 snow belt.
Yeah, that's correct.
Is that in addition to, or is that inclusive in?
Inclusive.
No.
Part of it,
Yeah.
so
So it's included,
Yeah.
which includes the 5.5.
about a third of the stuff they cover looks like it's that snow belt.
Right. I'll second,
Thank you.
Mr. Councilmember Voorhees'
I'll make that
motion
change before we send it out.
With the amendment.
with the amendment to the motion, or to the resolution, number 49.
Okay, now can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Southwick,
Aye.
Councilmember Cory,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye.
Sorry. Thank you.
Okay. remiss if we don't try to address Mrs. Bennett's paragraph here. Have you
Okay.
Have you all got a copy of that in front of you? Resolution number 50?
I do.
So at the bottom of the paragraph, the last sentence I bracketed. She's asking for careful reconsideration, as conversion replacement of vehicles would be a costly endeavor. When I read this to you, keep that sentence in mind, I don't think it's correct.
Which sentence?
She also pointed out there is documentation indicating New York State legislators challenging the adoption of this rule. That's exactly what this is
This is
for.
challenging it.
This is to provide the New York State legislator and the governor's office that very thing. So I'm not, I guess I just wanna make sure I'm interpreting correctly here. But I think that she's misinterpreting the reason for the resolution. But, like I said, I'd be remiss if we didn't think about that a little bit, okay?
And I think she brought up a valid point. It's just a case of, once we go through this resolution, I think she should see that, as many of these whereas sections, it is reinforcing what she is asking for.
Exactly, exactly. And whether or not the new administration makes any changes to the policy, we still have to have the state make the change.
Correct.
Okay. And that I'm still on the right page, because that threw me a little bit. Resolution number 50 of 2024, resolution concerning the impacts of efforts to electrify highway department vehicles by adoption of the Advanced Clean Truck Rule. Whereas in 2019, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act was signed into law, CLCPA, was signed into law to require New York to reduce economy-wide greenhouse gas emissions 40% by 2030, and no less than 85% by 2050 from 1990 levels. And whereas the CLCPA directs the development of performance-based standards for sources of greenhouse gas, GHG, emissions, including for the transportation sector by reducing GHG emissions from motor vehicles. And whereas the New York State adopted California's Advanced Clean Trucks Act rule in December of '21 that requires applicable medium and heavy-duty M/HD vehicle manufacturers to sell a percentage of their total sales in New York as zero-emission vehicles, ZEVs, starting in model year 2025, with increasing ZEV sales through model year 2035, and whereas the cost of transitioning the state and local highway departments, utility and construction vehicles, snowplows, and equipment to run on battery power as mandated by Act, and other state strategies, it is this juncture incalculable but expected to exceed the ability to be financed without substantial sources of new revenues directed strictly for the retrofit or procurement of such ZEVs and equipment. And whereas as commercial production of M/HD large-scale electric construction vehicles is today a nascent industry, the ability of local highway departments to plan for this transition with its concomitant mandates that fuel and electricity charging sources be carbon-free is of tremendous concern, considering that the transportation system at all levels of New York government is significantly underfunded. And whereas while ACT regulations do not require MHD fleets, owners, operators, or dealerships to purchase ZEVs, the sales mandates on vehicle manufacturers are expected to lead to shortages in supply of not only complying electric vehicles, but of traditional gasoline and diesel vehicles as well. And whereas alarmingly, some M/HD vehicle dealerships have notified highway departments that due to manufacturers' need to plan for the sales mandates adopted by New York and some other states, many orders for trucks are being delayed or canceled. And whereas notably, Maine, North Carolina, and Connecticut, among other states, recently stepped back from adopting ACT regulations, citing concerns over the availability of heavy-duty vehicle charging stations and high costs of zero-emission trucks. And whereas in July 2024, the New York State Comptroller released an audit on the state's progress in meeting Climate Act goals and noted several deficiencies, including the need to increase communication with stakeholders and provide more accurate cost estimates. The audit goes on to add that the lack of cost estimates jeopardizes the chance of success in meeting climate goals. The comptroller urges the state to clarify for key stakeholders, especially energy taxpayers, the extent to which ratepayers will be responsible for Climate Act implementation costs. And whereas New York's climate goals must be implemented in a way that is affordable while assuring adequate supplies of these specialized vehicles and functional highway construction equipment that meets state specifications, estimated to increase the cost of a new truck by about 1/3. And whereas the rush to introduce electric vehicles in New York can be counterproductive to the environment, as the bulk of the power generation used to charge new vehicle batteries is produced by fossil fuels, and is a reason to move more slowly to sync with the pace of the transition to a zero-emission electric grid by 2040. And whereas recognizing these potential impacts on the ability of local governments to continue to deliver necessary transportation services and facilities to the traveling public, it is vital that state elected representatives and agencies assist county highway departments in developing strategies, funding sources, and realistic timelines for achieving these aggressive GHG emissions reduction goals in the face of market and fiscal barriers to the transition. And whereas all levels of government need to work together throughout the regulatory process to assure strategies and mandates put in place to meet CLCPA goals for the transportation sector are realistic and achievable and will benefit the environment. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Clinton County of New York State calls on the governor, the New York State Department of Transportation, New York State DOT, and New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, New York State DEC, NYSERDA, PSC, and commissioners and legislative leaders to commit to providing support for addressing these concerns in the regulatory and implementation process, and to dedicate the funding necessary to fully cover the county's costs of complying with state mandates under the CLCPA. And be it further resolved that the governor consider a pause or suspension of the implementation of ACT until there is a strong evidence that the state has in place the necessary direct financial assistance and incentives and charging infrastructure necessary, and can definitely determine that vehicle manufacturers are prepared to effectively supply the New York market without disruption to the critical work needed to maintain the state's vast and aging infrastructure. And be it further resolved, the state recognize that highway construction, maintenance vehicles, and equipment are critical to government's mission to maintain a safe and functional transportation system by designating these municipally owned vehicle and equipment as a category among transit buses, motor coaches, and emergency vehicles, and thus exempt from ACT regulation. Be it further resolved that Clinton County shall forward copies of this resolution to the governor, Kathy Hochul, the New York State Legislature, and the commissioners of New York State DOT, New York State DEC, NYSERDA, PSC, and all others deemed proper. Motion to approve said resolution as written and read.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 50 of 2024, a resolution concerning the impact of efforts of electrify highway department vehicles by adoption of the advanced clean truck rule as presented by the supervisor.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Southwick,
Aye.
Councilmember Cory,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Champlain.
Aye. Thank you. Carries. Moving right along.
That was long.
There's a lot
You did a
there.
good job.
There's a
Take it
lot
from
there.
Moving right along.
Take a break.
Okay, so, the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, EFC Clean Water Revolving Fund, Sewer District 7. This is 2024 WIA grant. You're all aware of it. It had to be sent in before the 8th of November. I would like a motion just to approve my signing and accepting this grant award. Just to get it officially documented.
Make a motion to give the supervisor permission to sign this WIA grant received,
Yep, acceptance and.
acceptance of the WIA grant as outlined in the letter.
Mhm, thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion regarding that? There. If not, can you do a roll call on that one, please?
Councilmember Southwick,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you.
Take another drink. Here comes the real long one.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, no, I'm not going, how are you looking at that when you say real long? I'm talking about the agreement.
23 pages?
You're talking about the agreement itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not reading the whole agreement. I'll,
I want to see you summarize that.
I mean, we've all had time to read that, I would hope. Because the first thing up here on number 8 of new business is this letter for request for qualifications for application preparation. So what I've given you here to look at is 1 of 15. So I've already started doing, just changing the companies. So this is a form letter that's going out to 15 engineering firms, consulting firms, to see if they're interested in being part of this construction. And then once, let's say I get 4 of them back that say yes, then I have to send them off to state, and they will send me the qualification packages, dockets of each one of the companies, that keep them on file, and a set of instructions for us to at least 3 of us, or I think 4 of us should sit down, form a committee, and rank them to come up with an approval on how we're gonna choose one to move forward with.
So how do you choose these
15?
companies that you're sending this template letter to?
The state provides the 15 that we have
Okay,
to send it to.
okay. And are they limited geographically? They're all in the state of New York?
They're all in the state of New York.
Okay. Is there any other criteria that they have to meet that's part of this?
No, it's gotta be on their list.
Okay.
It's
So
throughout this whole,
they've partially vetted them already, the 15 that are on the list?
I
you
guess,
think?
they're standards, right?
Yeah.
This is gonna be quite a process, cause everything, even though we have to run this project, everything has to get approved step by step by the state. So I've been in close contact with this representative, Jennifer Docteur, and we're working together to go through this process. So, first step is we have to sign the agreement. Next step is I send these 15 letters out by email. And when it comes back, I go back to her, she gives us the packets and the instructions on how to rank them, then we have to get together and rank those.
So we're gonna grade them, basically. We're gonna, okay.
Yeah.
So this all has to be done in less than a month? December 4th looks like the deadline?
No, that's for them to return.
For them to respond?
To
Okay.
respond.
All right.
No.
So to go off of what Rick's question is, what's your timeline?
Right.
Where we should be
That's
working
nice.
on this? Like, when should we be gathering? We have to wait for all of them to come back, and then, so you're looking late December, you're looking early January?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, well, so let's say all these, basically it's just, yes, I wanna be considered, that's all this is. And those come back, I scan them and send them to Jennifer, and she sends the documentation back to me, so let's say it's a week's time frame. So, yeah, by Christmas time, we're gonna be looking at sitting down and doing some ranking. I mean, my best guess.
Okay.
So, this whole process is gonna be like that, it's just trying to keep the steps moving forward, because there's many of them, and it's very confusing. And I'm new at this, and so is she. So as I pointed out to her, it's a blind leading the blind, so let's hope we do this right. So anyways, that's what this is, it's just an example of what's going out for you, and then, so then you go to number 9, that is the project agreement. We've already done the resolution, basically, agreeing and accepting, you know, the fact that we are going to have to put all this money up front and get reimbursed, and it's our responsibility not to go over. If we do, it's us. So, yeah, there was a couple blanks here to fill in, but, for example, we just did resolution number, what was it? I don't know if it was 50 or not. All I'm looking for on this, I guess, since we've already done the resolution, is just a motion to sign and return this document.
I'll make a motion that we actually have the Bridge New York Culvert Local Project Agreement signed and returned, and also to give the supervisor permission to forward the letter of intent to the 15 various engineering firms to determine interest at this time.
Awesome, thank you.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carries. That comes over there. And as you can see, Mr. Tresp has already signed his copy and included that for you to see. Which we need to enter, you have his retainer letter.
Can we talk with other municipalities in regards to, when I look at the fees, like up to $8,500, looking to kind of close a one-year anticipatory note, but if there's a renewal, it's an additional fee up to $7,500. How do other municipalities, how have they dealt with this in the past? I mean, does it end up going longer than that? I guess I'm trying to gather, what are we looking at budgeting wise, you know, in terms of how much money for this?
Okay, so all this, I would say the 8,500.
Okay.
Because and I'm gonna go one step further, I was gonna talk about it later, we can talk about it right now. I've been in conversation with Mr. Trespass with questions about the bands and the interest and budgeting for these two projects. And he highly recommends that we hire a financial advisor to help guide us through this. Peru uses, and I don't have his name in front of me, maybe I do have it in front of me. Ben Masalona. And it'll take the burden off this office, off our bookkeeper, on trying to figure out how to keep this all straight. They will also go out and find the best interest rate. They will guide us as to when is the best time to start the band.
Mm-hmm.
Not start it too early. For example, if you started it January 2nd, you know, at the end of the year, you're gonna be paying your interest as
Right.
compared to if you don't need it until June,
Correct.
wait till June, and then you'll have till next June to pay your interest. I did find out that, actually it was Ted that emailed me back, that in regards to the Sewer District 7, the EFC loan, the interest can be pulled from those grants, not loan, from the grants. So any interest that we incur on the ban can be reimbursed by the grant. not positive about the Bridge New York. That's where we probably could need some professional assistance, so I need to get a proposal from them for you to look at.
And that was a recommendation by the lawyer, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's out of Syracuse. I looked him up online.
And
He works for the town of Peru as well, by the way.
and-
Oh, yes.
And so I'm guessing that that recommendation is probably comes with, it's a good, it's a good recommendation, that's, yeah, so.
Yes, and it makes perfect sense to me. I mean, you know, the only financial advice we've had, that we've ever seeked out was going to our auditor and getting some guidance. In this case, with these two big projects, I think that we should have a professional helping us along.
That's,
Especially this one.
yeah, no, I don't think it's a bad idea, then a matter of, we haven't planned for this, is that correct? If we were to go and need these services, it's not something we've actually planned for.
No, no.
This wasn't
so-
budgeted, correct?
No, so
So,
we gotta, that's why we need a proposal.
right.
And that, I did ask him, you know, how much money do you typically see this costing for a project like this? And he said, 1,000 or two, you know, a couple of thousand, not tens of thousands. He said, from what I've seen come across in front of me, because I've worked with him, it's not expensive, but I need to get a proposal from this guy.
But we do have a little bit of leeway with the amount of money we put aside for interest.
Right, we're high.
We were high, so this would consume some of that, if
Okay.
not all.
Correct. Alright, so we did,
Yeah.
in a
So there
sense,
is
we did
some.
budget.
There is some.
Yeah, we did build funds in the budget for this project, and if we don't, example, if they recommend we don't start the band until May or June, that a lot of that
What
money
time
we're
is
prepared
that?
for, we can use.
Where's Ben out of?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't think he told me where it is from.
How do you spell his last name?
M-A-S-L-O-N-A. So anyways, with that, I am requesting that we enter in this agreement with Trespass Law Offices for this Elm Street Culvert project.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we, upon the recommendation of the supervisor, to enter into an agreement with, you said Trespass?
Yes.
Law offices for our Elm Street culvert project.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a roll call for, any further discussion, by the way?
And when we make an agreement with this, that's not the secondary piece that we talked about, that's a whole,
That's a separate.
That's a separate thing,
That's
okay,
separate.
very good.
That's separate.
Okay.
Councilmember Southwick,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Right.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. I got ahead of myself, Mr. Bory.
That's it.
I see,
Do you see it?
I
Yeah,
see.
resolution
This,
51.
this was just the discussion,
Oh.
this is where it's at, okay, well, I can retro it, but go ahead, you wanna read it?
I can't believe I jumped past it. So anyways, resolution number 51 of 24 is to authorize the town of Champlain supervisor to sign the Trespass Law Office's bond counsel retainer letter. Whereas the town of Champlain requires the services of a bond counsel for the Elm Street culvert over the tributary of the Great Sheezy River project, and whereas Trespass Law Offices LLP has represented the town of Champlain previously, the town wishes to procure their services again. And whereas the town board agrees and accepts the conditions and cost estimates specified in the bond council retainer letter dated October 18th, 2024, and therefore be it resolved that the board of the town of Champlain authorizes the town of Champlain supervisor to sign the bond council retainer letter. And now therefore be it further resolved that a roll call vote is carried to approve said resolution, and a copy of this resolution to be given to the secretary of the board. So motion was made by,
Yes, I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 51 that authorizes the town of Champlain supervisor to sign the trespass laws office bond council retainer letter as presented by the supervisor.
And I'll second that.
thank you, so I did it formally, I forgot.
It's official.
It's official.
It's official, roll call again, please.
Councilmember Southwick, aye. Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter.
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. Wow, okay. Resolution number 52 of 2024. Resignation of Mr. Carl Shank as Chair of Planning Board. Whereas Mr. Carl Shank was appointed to the Planning Board in January 1997. And whereas Mr. Shank has submitted his resignation letter from the Town of Champlain Planning Board effective October 28, 2024. And therefore be it resolved, the Town Board does hereby wish to thank him for his many years of service and wish Mr. Shank well with his future endeavors. And now therefore be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately, and a copy of this resolution be given to the Secretary of the Planning Board to be filed. Motion to approve said resolution as written.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 52 as stated and read.
Second,
I'll second that.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you.
Should we send him a thank you card or
Well,
an official
I-
letter, or we would like to, I mean, that's a long time
27 plus
It's a long
years.
time.
to
So-
serve on our planning board.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I did not have time, as you can see, I had many of these to prepare. I do want to prepare a resolution for him to present, just as we have in the past, for the resignations. And in that resolution, you can stress upon the amount of time that he served on these boards.
Sure.
So I'll try to do that. Hopefully within the next month, Julie, maybe the co-chair, or chair, or whatever, by the time we get this done, we can present it to him in a meeting. That'd be nice. Do you think he'd come in for that? We'll have to invite him. Next time we give it to him. Okay, next, we have EDU changes to be approved. I will answer an email to Cindy, she'll make sure what these EDUs are about. So, the changes are presented. We have copies of them. Looking for motion to approve and a second, and we have discussion, if we need to. Or do we need an explanation?
No,
Or
no,
we're gonna-
why don't we put the motion on the floor, then we can just, cause
Okay.
just so we can. I'll make a motion to approve the, proposed, EDU, changes as presented.
We
I'll
probably should,
second that.
yeah, we probably should call them adjustments, right?
Adjustments, that's.
And I'll speak a little bit to this, and then you can also send out correspondence to Cindy to answer her question. Each year, we have an EDU committee that meets to discuss each and every one of these EDU listed parcels. Based upon our town code 124-5-1, we actually identify with any necessary changes that need to be made. You can see from this particular printout that there was an increase from the 2023 baseline of an increase of 4.15 EDUs total, all right? Those particular properties that were affected are identified here in the summary of the EDU annual assessment changes effective July 1st of 2024. So, as noted.
Yeah, there are adjustments based on most cases, property changes. For example, merging of two properties.
Correct.
Yeah, it's our responsibility to make sure that we review these annually, as Councilmember Hunter mentioned, and we just cross-reference with changes to property, upgrades or downgrades, if you will, and just making sure that those numbers are reflected. This also includes appeals as well, correct?
It does. There's an appeal process. Also, in addition, these 264 parcels might also be changed due to a change in categories. For example, like solar panels. Certain class of solar panel category. So one might be under one particular number of EDUs and another might be under another. So it's very dynamic, it's constantly changing. So.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is for the Board of Assessment Review, Assessment Review Board, another way to put it, I suppose. We have two members that were finishing out other people's terms, Mr. Claude Boucher and Mr. John Redden, that need to be approved for, to be reappointed for new terms, which would be from October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2029. So,
We don't have that.
And this is not.
you don't have that?
No, that's not in our file.
Julie, let me just pass this one around. So,
Oh, wait, maybe this. Yep, got it. Sorry about that. It's the last page.
Oh, this, yes.
I see, yes. Yes.
Sorry about that, thank you.
So I plan on doing this as through a motion, so I make a motion to reappoint Mr. Claude Boucher and Mr. John Redden to do terms, which is a 5-year term, starting this October, September 30th, 2029.
Make a motion to accept the reappointment of Mr. Claude Boucher and Mr. John Redden as recommended by the supervisor for the Board of Assessment, as a Board of Assessment review member.
Correct.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do you give that to him, or do I need to give him a copy? You probably-
I will.
You got it. Before we go to executive session, why don't we, I want to just jump ahead to the old business, 'cause I think you wanted to speak on something. First of all, the first one on there is tethering law. Do you agree that we just hold off for another month here and figure out what's going on, or do you want to start the process of adopting a law here?
I believe we should wait. I think we allow Ms. Jewett to go ahead and reappeal to the Clinton County Legislature, legislatures. Hopefully all will be in attendance at that time, and they can redetermine whether or not it needs to go to the
Public
public.
hearing.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we're gonna remain on hold and see what happens at tomorrow night's meeting.
Yeah.
Next will be signed for Bob Van Park. I just wanna point out that there's monies donated
The
from,
money for the sign. is
from
not-
personal money's been donated to the town for this sign. This is not in our budget.
And this is to remain under, we're trying to remain under that, so we did not have to contribute to it.
Yeah, and we are, and we definitely are.
Yes.
So what do you have to report? I see you gave us a
Yeah,
proof.
so yes, I had 3 contacts, I only had 2 responses. The information that you have here, I don't know if you had an opportunity to look at it online.
That look nice.
Okay, because I did put, you can't see it on here, but this is what's written on the signs.
Right.
And the cost estimates were above each sign. The second contact that I had sent an estimate, and with installation, their estimate for the panel sign itself was well over $3,000. And their total installation, including the sign, was somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000.
Wow.
So with your permission, I'd like to call them and say thank you, no.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
please. I grant
And
you permission.
Thank you. And I would really like to, give Jessica at JP Signs the go-ahead. I do need to run this by Calvin, he's gonna get with the
Okay.
family, but I think that they're gonna like what this looks like. And then when the time comes, we can order it whenever you all are ready to do that. And then when the time comes, we can get the rest of the materials to install it.
So are we gonna be better off, depending on timeline, before the ground, actually? Are we gonna wait till spring, or are we gonna proceed?
I think we're gonna have to wait because where we want the big sign to go
Right.
is near the entrance to where the parking lot
Which
is,
we
but we
haven't done
don't
yet.
have
Which
that
you haven't
yet.
done it.
And then the smaller sign would go near the walking path, and that is close to where we're hoping our little
Mhm.
other
Right.
Our-
exercise
our fitness
equipment
court.
is gonna go, and that's not ready yet either. So I imagine we can get this, store it somewhere and have
Mhm.
it for when we're ready to put it in.
Yeah, so we'll need to, I guess, talk to Jess in detail on her recommendation for how she wants to bracket it to the posts. Because I know there's 2 different ways
There's
to
2
do it.
different ways, and she
So-
was gonna leave that up to us,
Okay, okay,
so I can get some more detail on that, and she was gonna give me a list of materials that we can purchase separately and pick up, or she can do it all. I just know it's gonna come under our budget, and it certainly is gonna come under that other budget.
yeah. Okay, sounds like a plan.
Okay, thank you.
Get the approval, and then we'll go back to Jess and see when she wants to get it done. North Country Golf Club lease agreement. Everybody get a chance to see Dorothea's email?
I don't think I
I don't
sent it
think
to
I've seen an
everybody, I
email.
Oh,
only
they
sent it
sent
to
me?
you, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
It's okay,
But I do have some thoughts.
yeah, she did as well, she had points.
There wasn't too many grammatical corrections to make. I'm sorry, I should have sent
I
it
don't
to
have,
everybody.
I didn't notice. I think I printed it. Did I? Yeah, I did.
Oh, no, it was-
I did.
Did you?
Yep. So in what she sent me, she's got some yellow highlights on this representing grammar corrections. And then when you looked at it, you probably noticed that we have rent regarding EDUs. I agree with Dora, it'd be better placed under number 15 under club expenses. So that's a suggestion. She pointed out that the current rent was due October 31st, has not been paid. I sent a message to two of the members of the board and haven't heard back. And what's with the property tax record? Why are you putting that?
So I just added, those are costs, I had a hard time looking at this budget. You must have looked at these financial statements,
I did,
yeah.
I got some thoughts.
Yeah, so I just pointed out that that's what they pay in taxes, and that they
Okay.
also, have paid their 6 EDUs, that is paid in full for this year, according to Sarah. So just, the big dollar items, since their rent is $1,000 a year, I don't know how long that's been being paid
At that rate?
at that rate,
Will definitely last,
well, 5-year term.
5-year contract, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, for the last 5 years, for sure. I don't know about before that. So how do we wanna get this together to get it back to them?
Well, first of all, I recommend strongly that we go with a year-by-year contract, and I'll tell you why. In analyzing their financials, I'm concerned when I looked at applying a few liquidity ratios, profitability ratios, financial strength of the business. I'm concerned, I don't wanna go about 5 years. I think we go annually, I think we continue to reevaluate. For example, like, their current ratio, which is the ability to pay their bills and repay loans, or a liquidity ratio, typically you look for a 2-to-1 ratio, and they're not even anywhere close to that. Not even close to that. Their financial strength, I think, is very much in question. When you take the total stockholders' equity and divide by the total liabilities, you end up with like, in 2023, you get about 77 cents of equity for every $1 provided by creditors. I'm concerned about their financials. That's me,
Okay.
for what it's worth. I don't know, ask an accountant.
Well, I would say if anybody needs an endorsement of Rick's opinion on financials, I would say I will give it, because I've worked with Rick for many, many years, and that's his expertise. So if Rick is putting up a red flag, then we probably should heed the warning.
So therefore, I'm assuming we would keep that same rate and present it as a annual contract.
And I ask that we actually receive these financials annually, so we can look at them each year. We got skin in the game.
Okay.
Do you need us to make a motion to that effect, or no, just?
No, 'cause I think.
Because it is a huge, that would be, to do a annual contract is going to be a massive change from what we have been doing.
Well, until they're at least back on their feet,
Yeah.
and they're in a stronger financial condition than they are currently. And again, there's been some growth from 22 to 23, but not anywhere near where it should be.
So I think what we need to do is, we only have a draft here right now.
That's only a draft.
Yeah.
It's essentially the same as what was sent to us with some changes in grammar, that's all.
And
Does anybody have a problem if we address it at the next month's meeting, and approve it there, and
no, that's probably a good idea. I would like, yeah, because I know I haven't submitted mine, but my recommendation is I'd like there to be a line in there about us having some kind of, I don't wanna call it an advisory role, that's not what, but us to have a voice in making things better. Like that's, I don't know how to phrase that, but something along those
Some kind
lines.
of a liaison.
Where it's not just us signing some paperwork and they go on their happy way, but that we somehow are able to have dialogue with them, hopefully for the better. That would really be, really to truly make this a partnership, because I'm not really sure
That's what it is.
I get that out of this contract. It's very nuts and bolts, and I think, as you said, skin in the game, we definitely have that. And I think if we're gonna make it a yearly contract, there should also be language about how we go about having those conversations. Whether we set up an annual meeting, or whether we set, something to that effect, I don't know. I'm not sure how it should be phrased, but I feel that should be in there.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be somebody from the town that provides them with those strategic or tactical directives, but recommends some outsourcing so that they can maybe assist them with moving in a positive direction. And I know it's gonna cost money, but you have to spend money in it.
Okay, so there's some way we could get a new draft to circulate to us for review. With those changes, would you be able to do that for us, Dora?
I'll do my best.
Well, you've already got it.
Yeah, I already have
started.
it on my Word, I just need to redo the numbers, right?
Yep.
And if I can come up with
Yeah.
some kind of phrasing to throw
Phrasing?
your way,
Yeah,
then
throw-
maybe
that'd be
we can
great.
kind of each pick away at it and come up
Okay.
with something that makes sense.
With the goal of trying to have it within the next couple of weeks, so I can
Mhm.
send a draft to them
Mm-hmm.
before we approve it, find out what kind of feedback we're gonna get back. And we may have to negotiate, I don't know, they may say, no, I want a 2-year contract.
Right.
You know, I don't know. And with the hopes of approving it in December meeting and then getting it signed before the end of the year. I mean, we're gonna have a little overlap, so if the new contract is not dated October, but it's dated January 1st, so be it.
Mhm.
I'll try to have that
Okay.
date by like Thanksgiving, that'll be my cutoff for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, before we exit the executive session, I wanna point out the next business meeting is scheduled for December 10th, 2024. I need a motion to exit the regular business meeting and go into executive session to discuss a contract with water contractor, and I also need to discuss employment history of an employee.
I'll make a motion to exit the regular business meeting and enter into executive session to discuss a contract with the water coordinator and as well as the other business employee's history.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who seconded
Oh, yeah,
it?
there was
Oh,
no
I'll
second.
second that
Oh, I'm
motion.
sorry, I thought
That's
there
all
was a
right.
second.
It was, it
My
was,
motions can be so long-winded, it sounds like there's a second.
A second.
Thank you. All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That was good.
So let's start. Ready? Okay, we need a motion to leave the executive session and re-enter into the general business meeting, please.
I'll make a motion to exit the executive session and return to the regular business meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Both items that were discussed during executive sessions, there was no action taken, no decisions made. Further discovery work needs to be done. Therefore, I've already said the next business meeting is scheduled for December 10th, 2024, so I ask for a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion to adjourn our November
I'll
monthly
second
meeting.
that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.